I don't think I've held anything this preciously since like my kids were born.
I was gonna say.
Bilbo's always been one of the characters I relate to the most. I'm never in a rush to get out of my house. But if somebody shows up, if a wizard shows up, an adventure comes along, I generally have a great time. This was no exception. I was just blown away by what I saw. The world of Middle-earth is the greatest fantasy world of all time. It fits Magic the Gathering so well. It's just a wonderful match. I discovered Magic the Gathering because of the Lord of the Rings set. When the Lord of the Rings set came out, I got invited out just to give some reactions as a fan of Tolkien. This is my first ever set booster. I'm just gonna keep saying how cool the artwork is over and over. They've clearly put a lot of love into this. From there, learned how to play the game and have just kind of been obsessed with it ever since. It's now, my favorite thing to play. After coming back, learning the game, I started teaching it to my kids. My teenagers have gotten really good at it. They absolutely destroy me like 90% of the time.
Well, I'm gonna swing at Dad for 4.
I went from 0 Magic cards 3 years ago to so many Magic cards in this house now. So many decks to choose from, and it's glorious. As we tour around here, I'm realizing it's kind of a lot that we have.
I'm gonna move the ring to the Troll of Khazad-dûm.
Magic is one of the most fun ways to experience Middle-earth. It's a unique way to experience this world. What's not to love about that? We're going back to Middle-earth, where it all started for me with this game. Wizards of the Coast recently had me back out. It was kind of a whirlwind trip. I flew in and then just spent a couple days straight all about Magic and all about The Hobbit. My favorite parts of the trip, definitely seeing the cards and holding the gold Smaug. That thing is incredible. I love being in those settings when it's just a bunch of nerds gathered together. I'm typically pretty introverted, except when I get in settings like that. In the flavor text, that's a direct quote from Gandalf. Dawn take you all and be stoned to you.
That's a good Gandalf.
We're talking about Tolkien, so it's the topic that I was made to talk about, apparently. Being able to talk to people behind Middle-earth projects. That's been one of the greatest things, to ask them questions about their fandom and what resonates with them about this world. Makes me feel a little bit like Bilbo. I go out on these adventures and I meet all these cool people and have these awesome experiences. And then, come home to my quiet hobbit hole or nerd cave, as you will. I cannot wait for this set to drop. I know my boys and I will be there on pre-release. We might even be there multiple pre-release days, to be honest, for this. It's gonna be extra fun going back to Middle-earth. We'll build some decks and we'll play.
Please welcome to the stage your host, Jack Saunders. Amsterdam, what is up? Make some noise! Yes, we're back. Ooh. Preview panel got me croaky. Anyone here yesterday for the preview panel? Great to have you back in. Who's here for the first time? Let's go. Those at home, welcome as well. Thank you for joining on stream. We are here to celebrate the wonderful world of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. I would just like to clarify, it is Jack Saunders on stage. It is not Eminem or the real Slim Shady. As a lot of you in the stream thought was happening, he has not pivoted. It is very much me, Jack Saunders. So, let's talk you through it. I'm really thrilled to be your host, and we'll be meeting friends old and new on our journey today. We'll be casting our eye over the opposition, rubbing shoulders with royalty, learning a new language, and I can confirm there is a bit of a sting in the tail too. So, let's start our journey together, and please welcome, from Wizards of the Coast, to talk us through it, it's Annie Sardellis, Gavin Verhey, and Zakeel Gordon, everyone. Make some noise! Welcome. Hey, Gavin.
Good stuff.
What's up, Zakeel? Good to see you. Oh, we have got ourselves a proper adventuring crew. Gavin, you remember the marshmallows, right?
Did you bring the campfire?
No.
Next time.
But I do like it when you feed me the marshmallows on our camping trips. So let's meet everyone first off, shall we? Annie, let's start with you. Talk us through what you do at Wizards.
All right, hi folks. I'm Annie Sardellis, principal game designer on Magic, and I was the lead designer on the Hobbit set.
I'm Gavin Verhey, principal game designer on Magic: The Gathering. I oversee a lot of our commander-focused design, and what would The Hobbit be without a wide cast of fun, legendary characters?
Hi, everyone. I'm Zakeel Gordon, executive producer for Magic, and I did the collectability product design for The Hobbit.
So we have our adventuring crew, minus the marshmallows, Gavin. We're here in Amsterdam, and we're about to preview some exciting new cards from The Hobbit. So let's get this party started in a slightly unexpected way. We're starting with the unexpected party scene collection. Zakeel, let's go to you. How long have scene cards existed in Magic, and what makes them so great, first off?
Yeah, so the scene treatment actually debuted with our original Lord of the Rings set, and is one of our most popular treatments. It is a assortment of collectible treatments that allow multiple cards to combine together to create a larger image. Fans love to display them on their walls and in binders, so our goal is to really tell an illustrative larger image through multiple cards pieced together.
So let's start. We've got 6 cards to make our scene, forming a feast for the eyes, or perhaps a banquet, if you will. Annie, talk us through the first card, please.
Sure. Okay, so first up we have Bag End Banquet. Of course, the story of The Hobbit starts off at Bag End, with Bilbo hosting quite a big feast. In this case, we knew how much you guys were looking forward to having food in the set, and made sure the scene boxes could deliver on all the things you would expect to have to add to your commander decks.
I love the slow murmuring from everybody as they slowly read the card.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the food decks, it could use a burst of mana, right? And this card is so good at pumping up your mana in a food deck. And you put that right in your Lord of the Rings food commander deck, you're good to go.
Well, if you like food, you'll definitely like the next card. Our first sighting of some dwarves. This is Philly and Killy.
Yes, our first 2 characters, Philly and Killy, are dwarves that add 2 red mana, 1 for each of them, that allow you to cast dwarves, equipment, and saga spells.
Yeah, and that dwarf equipment and saga spell line there, really hinting at what else we're going to be seeing here. Lots of all 3 in this set.
Philly and Killy having lots of fun, and so is our next dwarf, actually, even though he's doing the chores, Gavin.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want Ori stacking my plates given this card effect. So when he enters, he's going to blow up all of your opponent's artifacts and enchantments and give you 1 life for each of them. It's like a one-sided bane of progress, and you can even flicker it and keep it going in case they rebuild. So those plates all come teetering down.
Are these the reactions you hoped for?
Yeah, I mean, I love blowing up artifacts and enchantments too, so get out of here, Signets.
Are you enjoying it so far? Yes, that's what we want to hear.
Not bad for 5 minutes in, Jack, you know?
Yeah, it's going well. I got to say, the smirk on Ori there is the smirk of a dwarf that's definitely put themselves in a good position to win the game, I think. That's definitely a card that can help you do that. But who keeps the dwarves in check, Annie?
Oh, of course, it is Thorin, leader of the company. All right, so here is our 2-color take on Thorin. You might recall the mono red one in the main set, but this one, of course, was sort of targeting those dwarf strategies. I know you guys are playing in Commander. I know you got your Magda decks, so this way you can, use your dwarves and use any kind of artifact token you like in order to crush your opponents.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fun dwarf legends in this set. Some of them care about dwarf matters in different ways, and this lets you build a really unique kind of dwarf matters deck. So a really cool take on dwarves.
It's interesting. Every creature card we've seen so far has been legendary, and on top of that, I quite like how the cards kind of capture the quite candid moments that each of the characters are experiencing in the scene. And that's certainly how we find our next party guest, Gavin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Gandalf in a lot of different phases, but here he is sitting at a table chilling, you know? So what I love about this card is that you can play it in a few different ways. You play him out just on his own. It lets you cast a spell that costs 2 or less for free, which is pretty cool. I personally like casting null mana cost cards like Restore Balance and Wheel of Fate, but you do you. But you can also build a legendary Wizard's Matter deck, which is cool. Fit in all the other Gandalfs if you want them, all the other legendary wizards in Magic, and cast some really titanic spells. So a very fun build around here.
Right. This, of course, is one of many Gandalfs that exist, but the first we're seeing here for The Hobbit. It was kind of a challenge to pick out what angle to go with this guy. Yeah, ended up going with the play all the Gandalfs angle and picking Jeskai, which aligns with Gandalf of the Secret Fire, right? So, yep, that's how Gandalf ended up being the party guest and the leader of your wizard crew.
It's nice to see Gandalf letting down his hair, having a bit of fun, you know. So Gandalf and everyone at the party so far, they're having a great time. Now it's ready to meet our hero, our legend, our short king, Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, so here he is. It sounds like I don't need to say much, but
I think we just learned that treasure is stronger than food, you know?
yes, quite a awesome character. This is going to do quite a lot of work in food decks. And Bilbo, again, so important to The Hobbit. We absolutely wanted to make sure his card was special. So that completes our 6-card scene. We can zoom out here and take a look. This is the Unexpected Party scene box that is legal in Commander and available with the launch of The Hobbit.
We're able to zoom out and see the full picture. There we go. It's great. I love how Bilbo. Yeah, come on, let's hear it. I am impressed, though, with how Bilbo has enough food to feed a house of unexpected dwarves and a wizard. If that was at my house, it would be dry cereal on the floor. Although thinking about it, that's probably the kind of quintessential diet of any Magic player, isn't it?
Called out.
So we keep ourselves going with the hyperfixation. So Gavin, our party is underway with an array of unexpected guests, but some people in this room and watching on the stream at home, they won't necessarily have read The Hobbit or know the story well. So can you kind of give us a taste of what the journey is going to look like for the characters that we've met here so far? Yeah,
absolutely. So if you don't know The Hobbit, it's a great book. Go check it out. But you've got Bilbo, you've got these dwarves that kind of come into his house one day, this old wizard Gandalf, and they set out on this wonderful quest. And it'll take them all kinds of places, eventually, of course, meeting the dragon Smaug and trying to get some treasure. But they begin by trying to go to a very specific place, and a place that, of course, we would have to have in the set.
And like all good quests, there's got to be a place for us to go. Like, for example, here in Amsterdam, it was this convention hall. But for here in the set, it's over to you, Annie, to tell us about it.
All right, here is the Lonely Mountain.
It's a mountain.
Of course it's a mountain. Who do you think I am? It's got to be a mountain. All right, anyway, so the Lonely Mountain reduces the cost of its activated abilities by the number of equipment you've collected, as, you know, one of the dwarf staple sort of mechanical angles. And when you're building an equipment deck, it's really critical to have those creatures to equip your stuff to, or else what are you doing, right? So being able to have this token-making utility on a land was like really special and took a lot of navigating, but we ended up with this awesome Lonely Mountain.
And there are a couple of other versions of these that we can see, Zakil. Where can people pull these from?
Yeah, absolutely. So here is our first look at the book cover treatment cards. The book cover treatment cards on the left are available in non-foil and foil in both play and collector boosters. And exclusive to collector boosters is the Surge foil treatment on the right. That is effectively an iridescent foil that looks amazing on the table. Just absolutely beautiful, beautiful cards.
Stunning, Zakil. Done such a good job on these. I mean, with The Hobbit being published for the first time almost a century ago, its story is quintessentially British, meaning there are plenty of royal bloodlines in the story. So let's turn our attention to some of the blue bloods in this set.
Yeah, let's take a look at a character that many of you will probably be excited about. Here's Thranduil, the Elven King, a fresh take on an Elf Matters commander. He cares about the activated abilities of elves in your graveyard, so maybe you fill it up with a bunch of your Lorwyn elves, perhaps, and can do some pretty cool stuff. Or you can build around the legendary elf angle and play all the legendary elves in one place to try and draw cards and fill up your graveyard. Plus, He's a 5/6 to boot, so he gets into combat. This lets you take it in a lot of different directions and is a really exciting card. I really love that you can put kind of your blue-green Lord of the Rings elves and your black-green Lorwyn elves together, Andy. That's so cool.
Oh, right, yeah. So I'm a personal big fan of Lorwyn. So seeing that we had black-green elves there and we wanted to hook in the blue-green elves, it just made a lot of sense to create a Sultai 3-color legend here.
You like Thranduil, Amsterdam? Into that one? Drawing, discarding, the graveyard. It feels like a card built for me, to be honest with you. So as the story continues, we meet a pair of royals this time, one of which with a new mechanic, Annie.
Oh, all right, let's check her out. Here we have the Queen of Dale. All right, before you guys read, I'm gonna go real quick. All right, so the recruit mechanic is brand new with the sets. To recruit, you draw a card and discard a card, and if you discard a non-land card, you get a 1/1 token. You might see that this is a little similar to Connive, which debuted in SNC, right? Where you draw a card and discard, and then you get a +1/+1 counter. So this is very similar space, and I really wanted to create something that felt both blue and white as the new debut mechanic for the blue-white human faction, the people that dwell in Lake Town, right? So by drawing and discarding, it's kind of like you're doing a little bit of fishing. They are fishing people, and of course the human army needed to be represented, and we have, representations of each of the 5 armies as our 5 archetypes. So she's a pretty heavy hitter from the human archetype.
And I think we have a couple other alt artworks to look at. Yeah. Here is our Dragon Horde frame, and similar to the book covers, this is available in non-foil and foil in play and collector boosters, as well as that beautiful Surge foil being exclusive to collector boosters.
Dragon Horde frames looking impeccable. Loving your work, guys. We can now see her other half, Zakil, the king.
Yes, here is Bard, King of Dale. And you know what's better than drawing 1 card per turn? 2 cards.
Yeah, so every time you recruit, you get kind of double the value, right? You can draw 2 cards, discard 1. If you make a token, you make 2 tokens. But turns out Magic has a lot of other ways to draw cards and make tokens, so lots of fun to be had with this card. A 6-mana powerhouse.
Lovely token synergy between the two of them. Let's turn our attention to the most important royal, though, in the story. The king in exile, Thorin. Annie, tell us about the new mechanic Storied.
Sure, here's Thorin Oakenshield. He's sort of our uncommon representative for the red-white archetype, and of course features another new mechanic, Storied. This belongs to many of the dwarves in the set, and it asks you to collect 3 artifacts, legendaries, or sagas, and then it'll turn on an enduring story for the rest of the game and unlock their abilities. Basically, this batch, which you might recognize as the historic batch back in Dominaria, very easy to remember. But not only is it kind of easy to remember because of that, it's also 3 things the dwarves care about a lot, right? So we have artifacts and their equipment and treasure, legendaries because there's just so many named dwarves in this archetype, and sagas to represent the songs they sing along the way.
Do we think Thorin and company, do you think they like to sing Sabrina Carpenter whilst they're on their way?
Well, they did give a house tour, so that makes sense.
Oh, good, Gavin. Very, very good. Okay, let's turn our attention to the elves now, who are often portrayed as very serious, but actually this character is definitely enjoying life, Gavin.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love a good value engine. Well, here is Sylvan Reveler. This is a blue-green elf that comes into play, picks you up a card, basically puts a land into play as long as you have one in your hand as you discard it, and then it can come back time and time again. A really nice uncommon for the blue-green elf archetype. And Annie, tells me about what landfall is doing here.
Oh, okay. So as you can see, we have another uncommon here in green and blue. And so landfall is the mechanic of the elves in this set. So I know previous Lord of the Rings set had Scry Matters, which, is pretty general, and landfall is also pretty general. So I'm hoping they would sort of fit together and go into nearly any kind of elf deck you would like to play.
Sylvan feels like a bit of a heater, the perfect ally for a Simic landfall deck, I think. Some people say the best allies are the ones who are always there for you, and Sylvan is definitely that kind of card, but it does also help Zakil if they are giant eagles.
Yes, absolutely. The eagles are coming. This awesome instant spell allows you to return a creature card to your hand and calls an army of eagles to the battlefield. You have the option of bouncing a single creature or paying that kicker cost and summoning an entire army of eagles on your side of the battlefield.
And here's another member of the Dwarf Company. Biffa is an important part of the story and another character featuring this new mechanic, Storied, Annie. How did Storied kind of affect the way that you built the abilities of some of these cards?
Yeah, so Story does put you on a tiny bit of a deck building quest, but once you have that quest, we get to unlock these really fun abilities. So this one allows you to double the trigger of any dwarf you have, and some of them are pretty powerful in Magic's history. In this case, Biffer will get you 2 +1/+1 counters once you have that Enduring Story.
And from Biffa the Bard to another Bard who actually isn't a Bard. It's Bard the Bowman.
Yeah, so similar to Bard the King, the blue-white archetype is focused around drawing 2 cards per turn. So once you draw your second card per turn, you're able to put a +1/+1 counter on another creature you control, and it gains lifelink. So very, very fun for limited, and I'm excited to check it out.
I love the look of this card, Bard the Bowman. I mean, allies are great to have along the way. Sometimes, though, you do just need your go-to guy, and this right here is definitely a go-to guy. Our jolly wizard from earlier on, although Gavin, not so jolly this time.
Yeah, here's our mythic rare Gandalf, Goblin's Bane. A lot of cool stuff going on here. Let me walk you through it. First of all, the adventure mechanic returns, which is always a fan favorite and so appropriate for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But there's something kind of unusual. You might start reading that Flame Shape ability and be like, oh, I've seen this kind of thing before. But look closely. Not only do the cards go face down, but you can play them for as long as you control a wizard. So maybe you play out Gandalf and play them then, sure, but also any other wizard that you play later will unlock these cards for you. So it's a kind of a new duration for red, which is really exciting. Additionally, on the right-hand side, it's kind of like a gutter snipey style effect. Whenever you play a non-creature spell, you ping your opponents for 1, Gandalf grows, it feeds into each other in a really satisfying way. Really strong version of Gandalf right here.
And this card is also available in that book cover treatment, both in non-foil, foil, and Surge. So many beautiful Surge foil cards in this set for our collectors to chase after.
I just heard someone down the front go, that's hot. But what if your go-to isn't go-to-able? That's when a little bit of self-reliance comes in handy. And what better way to take things into our own hands than with a trusty sword, Annie?
Yeah, here we have Sting, Bilbo's sword. So the Hobbit set, being a follow-up to Lord of the Rings, was both, a challenge and an opportunity. Like, we have already seen a take on Sting, but as a designer, it's always fun to just make up something brand new. So in this case, we invented hone counters, and you can see these on a handful of cards in the set, but Sting showcases them in a big way. So a hone counter, when it's on an equipment, gives the equipped creature +1/+0 for each hone counter, so you can, proliferate or do a bunch of nonsense with them. And it's basically showcasing that, when Bilbo is outnumbered, you flash in Sting, and depending on how many creatures are out there, the more empowered he is to face them.
The flavor on Sting, Bilbo's sword, is chef's kiss for me, Annie. That's a lovely, lovely card. Let's get some feedback. How are we feeling about the set so far? Liking it? Nice.
Oh. Yeah, we have our Dragon Horde frame take on Sting here as he faces off against a giant orc.
Those look stunning. So let's have a little review. We have a company of adventurers, a goal, friends and allies, and a sword in a tight spot,
yes,
as we've just seen as well. But let's meet some of the threats that are trying to stop Thorin and company from reclaiming the crown. Gavin, over to you.
Yeah, how many of you are fans of Shelob from the first Lord of the Rings set? Well, this is a card kind of inspired by what was going on there. This brings back all creatures that died this turn as food. So you get all their enter the battlefield abilities, all their static abilities. They're not creatures anymore, so your opponent can't mess with them very easily. And if you, in a pinch, you can always gobble them up. A really clever way to make a new cool card that also calls back to what we did in the Lord of the Rings set, right, Annie?
Right, that's the blessing part, honestly. So the story of The Hobbit is not without its morbid moments, and I was really reaching to see, where are moments where they eat food outside the beginning and, in Lake Town ones? But most of the time, they're almost turned into food. Like the trolls almost eat them, these spiders almost eat them, and I'm like, okay, perfect. Let's have some food on this card.
Everyone's hungry here, you know?
Yeah.
Next character has a lot going on, and we'll definitely need feeding at some point. Annie, unpack Bolg of the North for
All
us,
right,
please.
we got Bolg of the North. Yeah, this is our red-black representative showcasing the strategy this two-color pair is about, and it is about amassing goblins.
So if you know Lord of the Rings set, you probably experienced amass orcs. Well, we're doing amass again here, but it's goblins this time around. One fun fact is if you have a orc army token from the first Lord of the Rings and you amass goblins, now it is an orc goblin army. So they combine their forces together in a pretty fun way.
So Bolg is a leader, and so is our next adversary, Zakil. Let's come to you. Can you do us the honors and explain this one for us?
Yeah, so moving into black-green, we have the Chief Warg. This is a legendary wolf with menace and ferocious. Whenever you attack, if you have a creature with 4 or greater, you get to draw a card and lose a life. There are so many beautiful wargs in the set, and they are really beautifully terrifying.
Right, here you can see the mechanic of the black-green color pair on the Army of the Wolves. I bet you all, okay, maybe some of y'all know that it was actually the 5th Army. I didn't until I reread the book. And I feel like a lot of folks overlook these poor little wolves. So we sort of batched them together with like a lot of the fun creatures of Mirkwood, and I grew a great appreciation for our little wolf friends over this time working on the set.
For those of you that have read the book, you might know this next moment that we're referring to, but for those that haven't, there is a moment in the story where the wargs and the goblins have our allies in a particularly tight spot, right, Annie?
Yeah. So up here we have Burn, Burn, Tree and Fern, one of the sagas in our set. And every single saga in The Hobbit is themed to a different song being sung. And in this case, the goblins are singing this song as them and the wolves run our friends up a tree and try to burn them up, essentially. So we just tried to express both the song and what's going on in that moment through the mechanics of the card.
And of course, Gavin, not all enemies are created equally. Some are just a little more complex than others.
Yes, so of course, we have to have Gollum, right? Here Gollum is. So one of the things I love about Gollum is always about riddles and tricks. And this card kind of poses a little mini game to your opponent. You choose odd or even, and you hope that you guess right. And then if your opponent casts spells of that type into Gollum, you get bonuses for it. So it's a little mini game on both sides that I really enjoy, kind of reminiscent of Talion or something like that. A really cool card, and only 2 mana, it comes down cheap. And yeah, you guys reacted correct. That version is so sick. The book cover and the search foil both look amazing.
I feel like you're trying to match the book cover, Gavin, with your outfit today.
Me and Gollum get along. Don't ask too many questions.
Gollum's suitably manipulative on that card. I can feel the politics already going off around the commander tables out there. And from one iconic character to another, and this one is definitely a bit of me. Annie, let's come to you on this one. Talk us through it.
All right, we had to give the mighty dragon Smaug his own wrath, of course, to showcase his fiery awesomeness. So he deals 3 damage to each non-dragon creature. And then you get to recoup that mana, that 4 mana you spent, in a variety of colors, whatever you like to. Maybe cast another Smaug, you know, like the 4 mana one from the set. I'm not going to tell you what to do. There's also plenty of multicolored dragons from Tarkir that might be kind of fun. But I really wanted to make sure there was an awesome wrath for those dragon decks out there.
And then let's take a look at the other treatments here. There's a fun little Easter egg on the red Dragon Horde frames. If you take a look on the left side of the card, all of the red frames have a missing scale for some particular lore reason.
It's a lovely touch to kill. We love it. Of course, Smaug unleashing fire and fury on Lake Town during Desolation of Smaug. And I mean, J.R. Tolkien had an incredible talent for making memorable adversaries. But something else he was particularly renowned for was his love and attention to language. So Wizards took that as an inspiration to do something special with language in this set. So let's add another to the MTG family, Dwarfish. Zakil, how has this been implemented?
Yeah, so I'm sure many of you remember the Elvish language Soul Rings. As Jack mentioned, this time we're going to feature Dwarfish. There are a total of 5 borderless Dwarfish language cards in the set, and we're going to start right back at the beginning with Alpha.
Wow. Okay, so a dwarven card from Alpha. I personally wasn't playing then, so tell us about Dwarven Warriors and why they were picked, Zakil.
So this is Dwarven Warriors from Alpha. This card was selected not only to pay homage to our history as a card game, but also the influence of Tolkien's tales on the fantasy genre. They established a creative foundation to inspire so many writers and artists to come, and a game like Magic proudly exists as part of that lineage, so this card is a nod to that. And for those that don't know what Dwarven Warriors do, it's a 3-mana 1/1 that taps to allow a creature to become unblockable if it has power less than 2.
Cute.
Good card.
Real heater.
Card. Let's try another one. This one a little bit more my generation of Magic. Gavin, let's bring you in.
Yeah.
Cleaver.
For 3 mana, Zakil, I'll cast this one. This is the Reaver Cleaver. This is equipment that showed up in Commander Proc a few years ago. When your creature hits your opponent that's equipped with this, you make that much treasure. So a really cool card to be able to get back here. And of course, in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, you want to collect a lot of treasure.
I can't imagine many of you are probably that fluent in Dwarfish, but to be totally honest with you, you don't really need to be for this next card, Annie.
All right, so a little bit of a spoiler looking at that mana cost up there. Of course, 0 mana. We're looking at a Mox, in this case, Mox Amber, which originally debuted in Dominaria. It allows you to add 1 mana of any color amongst your legends and planeswalkers.
And so much of the Hobbit set is about treasure. The next card here is Treasure Vault, an artifact land that allows you to sacrifice it to create treasure tokens. And who do we see there in the art?
So that's 4 Dwarvish language cards. We've got Dwarven Warriors, Reaver Cleaver, a Mox Amber reprint, and Treasure Vault. But I did hear you say there were 5, Zakil. We're missing one.
Correct. The 5th card we did show at first look, but it is Arcane Signet, a card that I think is probably going to be very familiar to many Commander fans.
Feeling good about the Dwarvish language cards, guys? And along with the Dwarvish language reprints, The Hobbit is also going to bring back some cards from the very first Tolkien set. So can you kind of tell us how many there are going to be, Zakil, and perhaps what to expect as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are 20 cards, there are 20 classic artist box toppers featuring reprints from Lord of the Rings and Lord of the Rings Commander. They are available in foil with each play booster and collector booster display, as well as non-foil and surge foil inside of collector boosters.
Should we bring a couple of them in? Yeah, let's show them. Come on.
So first up, we have Galadriel's Dismissal and Reprieve, done by the incredible Rebecca Gay and Warren Mahi. But up next, we have 2 of the most powerful cards from the original set, Orcish Bowmasters and Call Forth the Tempest. Number 1 Bowmasters fan right here.
I think they know that one. I could tell. Wizard fans rejoice. Here is Flame of Aenor. Really good if you control a wizard. I like Gandalf, but whatever wizard you choose. And of course, we could not do Lord of the Rings without Sauron. So, it's The Hobbit. It's a little different time. We're not talking about Sauron as much, but we have him here as a box topper, reprinted from the Lord of the Rings.
Right. I love how these box toppers allow us to do new takes and find concepts that existed in both Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So we get our Hobbit takes on Rivendell and the Shire here. Obviously, the Shire is where it all begins in both stories. And Rivendell by Mark Poole is one of my personal faves.
So Amsterdam, and those of you watching at home, we are very nearly done. There are a few more key kind of points on our journey through The Hobbit that we need to touch upon. And one that I think is particularly important, Zakil, is product line. What can we expect from The Hobbit? Talk us through it.
Yes, absolutely. So Magic the Gathering The Hobbit is the sequel tentpole release to Magic the Gathering, the Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, that brings the next chapter of Tolkien's tales to Magic the Gathering. The set features play boosters that have all awesome standard legal content, including those box toppers, collector boosters filled with all kinds of beautiful treatments, including there's those Surge foil cards, pre-release kits, bundles, that have the seasonal Hobbit planes, as well as a co-op Battle of 5 Armies kit coming soon.
And I know for newer players, sometimes the product line can maybe feel a little overwhelming. I want to point out Draft Night, bottom left, because that's a really, really good one for new players to kind of get stuck into, right, Zakil?
Absolutely. Draft Night contains everything you need to do a 4-player draft at home alongside your friends. Each limited archetype has 3 different ways you can play it. The Draft Night is a perfect way to experience this awesome draft environment in your own cozy Hobbit hole at home. And since its writing, The Hobbit has been a great introduction to the world of fantasy. And if you've never played Magic before, one of the best places to start is with these welcome decks. Everything you need is included to play. We built these decks to celebrate that legacy and a great way to teach new people Magic the Gathering.
So, yeah, come on, give it up. A set for the more distinguished players amongst you, and certainly welcoming newer players in as well. This is brilliant. I think we should probably just get the dates for your diaries now, if we can bring them up on screen. So the pre-release is going to begin August 7th, and then the launch is going to be August 14th. Those are the dates that you need for The Hobbit for your diary. It's feeling exciting. The hype is very, very real. At least I'm feeling it on stage. Are you feeling it? In all the hype, though, you may have spotted in the product line Treasures of Smaug Scene Collection as part of it. This is going to reflect one of the biggest moments in the story of The Hobbit. It takes place inside the Lonely Mountain that we saw a little bit earlier on. So let's break it down. Zakil, let's start with you.
Yes, the first card we're going to look at is Long Lost Lances. This card gives your equipped creature +2 and +0, but during your turn, your entire team of creatures that have First Strike and Vigilance if this equipment is equipped.
So more loot up next. Annie, can you break down Necklace of Girion for us?
Yeah, so the Necklace of Girion has been created by the dwarves, but ended up back in Smaug's hoard, unfortunately. But the most notable thing about it is that it's covered in emeralds. It's super green. So I'm like, all right, let's make something that's like the greenest artifact ever made. So if you're playing green, this card is for you.
Check under your chairs, everyone. There really is treasure everywhere. What's next, Gavin?
Let's take a look into the Dragon's Hoard. This is a very cool card that gives you a red mana for each artifact your opponents control. We don't often do rituals anymore, and probably for good reason. Now, if you don't know what a ritual is, it's like it's a spell that adds a bunch of mana to your mana pool to do something big. And in Game of Commander, perhaps, 3 opponents to count, well, let's get a lot of mana. One of my favorite things about this card is it makes you play a little mini game with your opponents that have treasure tokens. Do they sacrifice them in response to make sure you don't get the mana? Or do they say, it'll probably be fine. Go ahead and take that red mana, and we'll see what I cast with it. A great representation of the Hoard.
That card is a little naughty, I think it's fair to say. A chamber's already starting to look incredible, isn't it? I feel like we're starting to get a good sense of the scale and the size. Zakil, what is the next part of our scene, though? What can we see?
Our next card is Dragon Cursed Halls. This awesome land allows you to tap and buff your creature and be able to create a treasure token if you deal combat damage. And if we look in the art here, this may give us a clue to who else is in this scene.
Yes, I need to give this one a proper intro. In all his miserable glory comes the dragon himself. Annie, take us through it.
All right, here we have Smaug, the impenetrable. Of course, had to make an indestructible Smaug. Okay. I didn't want to, garner his ire at all, okay? It's Smaug, right? So anytime you try to interact with him too, he's just gonna pop out 1,000 treasure tokens, so watch out.
I'm gonna cast Blasphemous Act with him on the battlefield, and we'll see what happens.
Go for it. Go for it.
Anyone in here got a dragon deck? All right, that one just might be for us. Final card though, and he seems to be drawing the gaze of our mighty dragon. It's the chicken wing munching hero from our first scene, Bilbo, everyone!
He's back.
Yes. Here is Bilbo's burglaring. You might have played Magic cards in the past, like Blatant Thievery or cards like that. This is very much cut from the same cloth. You get to take an artifact from each opponent. Normally, in a game of Commander, that might be, say, a signet from each opponent. That's pretty good. Ramps you for 3. But also maybe an artifact creature here. perhaps even a 1 ring there, and give you a nice little bonus. So for 6 mana, this card can slot into all kinds of decks, and is a pretty cool way to get 1 up on all of your opponents.
Yay.
And I think we can see the scene in its entirety as well. There you go. Let's have a round of applause for that. So the incredible scene in the Lonely Mountain does bring us to an end here. Thank you so much for joining us. We, of course, wish you well on your quest to the Lonely Mountain very, very soon. May you find all the treasure your heart desires. A massive round of applause for Annie Sardellis, Gavin Verhey, and to Kiel Gordon, everybody. I have been Jack Saunders. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you very soon. Good night. Well done, guys.
On stage. Don't forget, up next, Igniting the Spark, the story of Magic the Gathering, our film screening. Feel free to come back and join us.